Here we go. Hey there, welcome everybody. I am Steve Taylor, host of MSP Webinars. Welcome to yet another event. Today I'm joined by Corey with SimpleSat. Welcome, Corey.
Thank you for having me here, Steve.
Absolutely. This doesn't seem like we practiced this at all.
No, this is very natural.
So, SimpleSat. What are we getting? We getting satellite TV? What are we getting here? SimpleSat.
Right. Yeah, that's when we first started SimpleSat and finally came up with the name. When you Google SimpleSat, it's actually all the top search results for this NASA satellite system that they built. So we finally pushed them out of the first page of Google so we can get SimpleSat up there.
That's awesome.
But what SimpleSat, the name is for is simple satisfaction. And again, it was super hard to come up with the name. Creating a name is for a company is, I'm sure a lot of you guys know, is a really difficult and frustrating thing. And it doesn't really totally matter in the end. But we came up with SimpleSat because we have this idea for this customer survey tool that solves a lot of problems, and I'll get into those details a little bit later, but one of the main things really is just about it being a simple and fun and intuitive, easy to use platform that's super accessible. So just, I'm not sure if people here know who I am, so just quick intro. My name's Corey and co-founder of SimpleSat and Pronto Marketing. Pronto Marketing is a website management and online marketing company, primarily focused on MSPs, but we have all sorts of businesses all around the world. And at the moment, we have about 140 employees and nearly 1,000 live MSP websites that we manage. Been in business for just over 10 years now. And I started the company with my dad, Derek Brown, that some of you might be familiar with. Derek has a long history, executive history at Microsoft before he had this idea to build Pronto Marketing, which basically solved the problems that he was seeing, all the MSPs that he was working with, the marketing execution challenges.
Excellent. So with what you do at Pronto is fantastic. By the way, if for those of you that have seen the MSP Webinars website, Pronto builds and maintains everything to do with that website. They do it for MSPs. They will also do it for your clients. So you can basically pop in a referral for a client, and Pronto will manage everything, and then they just kind of give you a cut every month. It's fantastic. So at the bottom of these little support tickets that I get from Pronto, it's almost cute. I think that's the best way to describe it. So I'm going to share my screen here. So at the bottom here, you see we got these cute little thumbs, and they got faces. Like this one in the middle, it's like meh. I mean, like it's rolling his eyes. Like they're just adorable. And they're like dancing. They're bouncing around my email. So there's got to be a reason behind everything you did there. Like you probably have them moving because it's catching the eye and getting people to click on it, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I guess part of some of the inspiration behind some of more of the fun, cute things we're doing with SimpleSat is a tool called Office Vibe. I don't know if you're familiar with that. It's a survey tool for employee engagement. So it's all about, internally in a company, surveys go out to ask employees if they're happy with their salary, if they're happy with their job, if they're likely to recommend the company. And they've just done a really great job at making surveys fun and engaging. And I remember the first time I was seeing an Office Vibe survey, and I was just like smiling, like, I just can't believe I can't believe someone did this with a survey. And it kind of just made this thing click in my head that, surveys, it's like, of course you don't want to have an ugly survey, but actually it could be really fun. And it can be, like you're saying, like almost borderline cute, where like, why not have an experience for your customer be, instead of, it shouldn't be boring or painful, but why not have it be something that reflects, makes your business look better, or, makes them think more positively about your business. So I guess that was kind of the kernel that got the idea in our head about fun surveys. And then after that, we're just thinking, how far could we push it? Or like you're saying, part of the reason is just because it's more noticeable. There's more contrast on the page with color. And if they dance around, they're more noticeable. And, you can't not click one of those thumbs.
It's true. I find myself clicking on them on just about every email I get. And so with Pronto, you guys are using Zendesk. I just
Right.
can tell because I recognize the email format. And I get that little survey when a ticket gets closed. So it's not even on the bottom of like every email. It's just when the ticket gets closed. Do you want to know if I'm happy or not?
Right.
So I really am impressed with Simple Sat. So I'm glad that you agreed to come on here and do this. I also know that you put together a slide deck and kind of want to give us like a little tour of Simple Sat and go into the history and that type of stuff. So if you have that ready, feel free to take it away.
I do. Let me see. What do I?
There's that little green share button in the bottom. We talked about everything but that.
I thought I was sharing. Here we go. Sharing now. Or can you see yet?
I see your desktop with the thumbs.
Yeah, I was in a full screen mode. Let me. Here we go.
Perfect.
Okay.
Hey, that's you.
Hey, yeah, that's when I was introducing myself. I thought I was on this slide.
Well, I'll go ahead and mute. Take it away, guys. If you have questions, feel free to use the Q&A section. And yeah, thanks so much.
All right. Well, thank you. So we've already done a quick intro here. So on to Pronto. This is what I was talking about. Quick overview of Pronto. Here's our lovely Pronto team at an outing about a year ago. So we have about 140 employees, nearly 1,000 MSP websites managed. We have referral and reseller programs for MSPs, as Steve mentioned. So that's Pronto. If you have any big questions about that, happy to work on that over email, or work with the Pronto team if you have questions about managing a website or any sort of online marketing activities for MSPs. So at Pronto, we are really big on service. And service is one of the best, if not the best, things that you can really do to differentiate yourself from competitors and both retain customers. And with Pronto, we don't have long-term contracts. And of course, there's a lot of competition out there with local web developers and freelancers and people in the industry. So, the way that we're able to really just keep succeeding and keep growing is through this relentless focus on great service. And for MSPs, you're a service provider as well. So that, great service is not easy. It's a never-ending uphill battle, and it's a lot of work, but it can really pay off too and pay dividends later on. So, of course, like just saying, that we do provide great service, or telling your employees to provide great service, that's not enough. And you really need to have a discipline of measuring your service and improving it and making, tracking your progress, and then repeating that whole cycle all over again. It's like the Peter Drucker quote, what's measured improves. And it's the same with going to the gym, or getting more leads through marketing, and with customer service. So at Pronto, And I'll talk about, I'll keep kind of going back to a lot of Pronto problems that we've had with Pronto, because that's a lot of what SimpleSat's trying to solve. At Pronto, we had numerous issues around tracking customer satisfaction. We use Zendesk for our help desk, and Zendesk has an out-of-the-box satisfaction tool. And we didn't totally like that for a few reasons. One is that they only have two options, good and bad. And it doesn't look that good, and poor visibility. And I'm sure a lot of people just even missed the survey. But another issue with a two rating scale for CSAT is that our customer satisfaction score was regularly above 99%. And, of course, that's something really great to brag about, but it's really not something that you can improve. And most of our agents were actually at 100%, because consistently 100%. So if you have a performance review with them and you want to tell them how to improve, or they ask you how to improve, or we just want to improve our service, it's not really that apparent what you can do. And we know that we were far away from 99% perfection. So there was this problem with data where we knew that we can improve, but maybe we weren't asking the questions the right way, or maybe the survey wasn't correct. Another issue is that there was an inconsistent experience through the different types of surveys that we were using. So like, here's a screenshot of a Zendesk CSAT survey. Here is what a Net Promoter Score email survey looks like. And we also use a few other different types of surveys at Pronto. After a client goes live with their website, we send a survey to ask, how that process went, and how their project manager went, and everything. We also have another survey whenever a client cancels, kind of an exit interview, and we get some feedback about why they canceled, and their NPS at the end as well. And for those one-off surveys, we're actually using some duct tape solution we put together through Infusionsoft and WordPress Gravity Forms. And it works great, but then again, there's this inconsistent experience where survey pages look different in different places. And it kind of leads us to the situation where data was just stuck in this black box, and either it's in a spreadsheet that no one has access to, or a Tableau web page that again, no one has access to or even knows what the password is to log in. And, just everything was becoming this project that, as you know, with marketing, if it's a project and there's not a process, it kind of just doesn't get done. It gets put on the back burner. So a lot of things like compiling the list and sending our quarterly Net Promoter Score surveys just weren't getting done. Or after we got a bunch of survey responses, there was no process to follow up with the customers or anything. So this whole group of just list of problems that we've had. And that leads to our segue of SimpleSat here. So we've had all these problems, and during Pronto, as we've been building Pronto, we've always wanted to build our own SaaS tool that kind of checks a few boxes. One, it helps Pronto solve our own problems, and there's no better beta guinea pig customer than Pronto, because we're all in the same office and room. The next would be something that can help enhance Pronto's service portfolio. So we offer a website and doing more types of SEO and AdWords and newsletter services now. We have a vCMO marketing service coming soon, where we do more marketing consultation. And SimpleSat and customer satisfaction is really at the end of the funnel, where it's basically after someone has converted or become a paying client. It's about making sure that they stay a client and using this data to generate referrals and testimonials and positive reviews. So as we just kept looking at Pronto's problems, how are we going to solve them? We kept coming back to this vision of how everything needs to be connected in this unified way, where we own the surveys and making great surveys and custom surveys and fun. We own all the data and how that, we don't own the data, we own the experience of the data, how it looks in a dashboard, but also what data is like outside of SimpleSat for emails or Slack notifications or sending data to a third-party business intelligence tools. And lastly is really taking advantage of positive customer feedback to help generate more business or more leads for your company. And that was another we just felt it with our Pronto Zendesk feedback that we were getting. We were getting so many great comments coming in, and a lot of them are just 2 or 3 words, but we just felt like we were throwing them away. And at the same time, our marketing team was taking on projects to generate more testimonials, and you're emailing customers and you're figuring all this stuff and you're updating the WordPress website. So kind of thinking like, how can we hit 2 birds with 1 stone there where, we already have the great feedback. Let's just use this to our advantage as much as possible. So here's a kind of an early illustration here showing, painting our vision for how we think that SimpleSat can, work in concert with all of these different aspects. This image here includes CSAT and NPS, which are the 2 main types of surveys that Pronto is using at the moment. And I'll explain a little bit more about what these metrics mean and what these types of surveys are for anyone who's not familiar. CSAT stands for customer satisfaction, and this is a great metric to use for I don't want to say interactions, but like tickets or one-time survey. And it's great to, having the closed ticket notification like we have with Pronto. And it's an opportunity because it's in every solved ticket that we have. It's a great opportunity for your client to, raise their hand and raise a red flag if something's wrong. And of course, click on a positive rating and give you a pat in the back if things are going well. CSAT's also great for, basically it's more of a tactical tool to like solve a specific process, or maybe you have a problem member on your team or something. So you can really just kind of identify those issues. And CSAT percentage is, the CSAT score is the percentage of positive ratings. This is how you calculate this. And there are different CSAT scales. It ranges everywhere between 2 or 5 scales, but the basic premise is the same, that it's the percentage of positive ratings. Now, the other main type of survey and metric we use is called Net Promoter Score. And the Net Promoter Score is the question, how likely are you to recommend our company to a friend or colleague on a scale of 0 to 10? And I'm sure you've seen this before. From airlines or car rental companies, or a whole bunch of SaaS companies and service companies are using this now. And NPS is really great because it's such a industry-wide benchmark that you can use it to benchmark your company against other companies, other industries, and then of course companies within your own industry. And the big thing about NPS, and the creators of NPS wrote the book called The Ultimate Question, is that it's really supposed to be the single most important question that you could ask your customers that predicts loyalty and long-term customers and growth from there. And so with Pronto, we use NPS in a time-based format where SimpleSat actually sends the email to our customers once per quarter. And this is really important for Pronto because now we know that all of the active customers that we have working in our help desk, they always have an opportunity to rate us, but also we do have other customers that, are not so active on our help desk, or maybe it's, a VIP in the company or like a business owner and their employees are submitting tickets, but we still want to send that NPS email to the decision maker in the company to get their sentiment about, how they feel, how likely they'll recommend us. If, you get a lower score, you might be able to catch someone that was possibly on the verge of canceling. And if you get a higher score, like a 9 or a 10, this is someone who's out there actively promoting your business. And these are the people that you should be taking advantage of to, go ask them for a review, or go ask them, remind them about our referral program, or remind them about Pronto's reseller program. If you're an MSP and you're giving us a 10 out of 10 and you're not a reseller, you probably just didn't know about it yet. And the NPS calculation is the percentage of promoters, which is a 9 or a 10 score, minus the percentage of detractors, which is a 0 to 6 score.
So I just want to clarify,
Yeah,
the passive ones are not included in that list, or in that
Correct.
percent.
Correct. Yes, but they do. A passive will lower your score because they're not a promoter. So it makes a passive is basically like a neutral, but it will make the percentage of promoters less.
So that's like voting abstain.
Yes. So yes, your passives are the people saying neither good things or bad things about your business. They're just kind of indifferent. And your goal is to pull the passives up to promoters and, get the detractors maybe up to that passive level. So, kind of just pulling people up, what could we do? If you gave us a 6, what could we do to get to a 7 or an 8 or a 9?
So I want to point out a couple things real quick. And so I'm assuming that because your company also does a lot of design, this was on purpose. Can you go back a slide?
Sure.
Yeah, this one.
Mm-hmm.
You guys see how like ugly and confusing this slide is? Much like using the built-in Zendesk, how would you rate our support and that type of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then go back to the current slide. You see how cute this slide is? Much like Simple Sat.
This slide, I was trying to make this like an old school infomercial. It's kind of what I was going for here.
No, I mean you did good. I think you accomplished a lot, and there's a lot in what wasn't said on this slide as well.
Yeah, a lot of tension going on here.
Yes. So I do want to remind you to update your Slack icon though. remember they changed it to that new hideous purple.
Oh, yes, yeah, you're right. God.
But hey, if that's the only thing I have to complain about, I think you're in a good place so far.
Yeah, I spent so much time on that too, on that icon.
All right.
Any other questions about that?
Okay. Oh yeah, someone else said, "What are you going to use to replace Google Plus in your positive review section?"
Oh no. Okay. So we got a branding police on us now. Okay.
Oh boy, I think they're just screwing around only because I brought it up. But hey, like I said earlier, Corey, we like to make it fun. So,
yep.
So at Pronto, and this is me just trying to understand your culture a little bit better.
Yes.
Are you using the scores, whether it's CSAT or NPS? Are you using those scores to maybe reward individuals that are like really kicking some butt for the quarter or for the year or however?
We don't have any formalized program like that where there's like a gamification or based on rewards or bonuses, but it definitely is something that if you're a project manager and you're having a performance review, your manager is definitely looking at this, and it's definitely going to be a discussion about it. I guess the more so for how it really helps our employees is I'll share a Slack thing in a moment here about, we have a Slack channel that has all of our managers and other service leaders in it. And all of our Simple Sat feedback goes to that Slack channel. So, in addition to the Slack channel, people get emails. Derek and I get emails for good and bad satisfaction. So I don't want to say there's fear driving it, but there's definitely that, I don't know, it's transparent. That people are watching. I put that in a bad way. I don't mean to say fear. I guess it's more kind of like we're all in this together. And when we see stuff, we can talk about it. And of course, when something great happens, we really use that as a moment to pat people on the back and celebrate those wins.
That's phenomenal.
So any other questions before I continue here?
Okay. No, I was not trying to be funny. I really need to know what's going to replace Google Plus.
Okay, I will do the research and figure out for everybody what we're going to happen with Google Plus.
And I'm curious, are you actually saying, like, what are we going to do without Google Plus? Like, is that your favorite social network? Is that your concern? Because I think you would be the only one. Uh, so with the Google Plus, though, I mean, whether it's Google Plus or Google something else, the real thing that you're doing with these reviews and testimonials is it's going to use those like Google My Business reviews, right?
Right. I was just writing that down. It actually, we shouldn't be saying Google Plus at all. It's Google My Business. That's really what.
So when it's like a net promoter score of like 9 or 10, you then redirect them to Google My Business or to Facebook if they want.
Yes.
And then they can leave a review. And then and I'm so sorry if I pronounced this incorrectly, Libus. So if they're a promoter, then they'll be given the opportunity to leave a Google or Facebook review. So it's still Google, it's just not Google Plus. It's Google My Business, where if somebody Googles you and then they see, like, you've got 27 reviews and they're all 5 stars, then that'll be there in that Google thing in the corner, or in the side, I should say, of Google.
Yes, yeah, and I'll give a demo of how all this looks from the back end and the front end for configuring that.
Cool. Sorry, Corey, take it away.
Okay, yeah, great. Yeah, and by the way, just these questions kind of mid presentation are great too. So as they come up, keep them coming. So okay, so I talked about the surveys here for what SimpleSat's doing for Pronto at the moment. And so once we have these surveys set up, we have basically this data is coming in a more unified way that allows us to really get organized about displaying data in the right way in dashboards, and organized about sending out these notifications to Slack or Microsoft Teams or Trello or Google Sheets or something. Integrating with help desks, which is super important for MSPs and all other types of service businesses, where you really just want this stuff to be transparent and work and be glued together, and not having to be duct tape your own solutions. And lastly, about these publishing things. So I'll kind of just go over these 3 points of like the 3 main aspects of SimpleSat, and really what's driving our vision to help make this awesome survey tool that solves Pronto's problems and hopefully a lot of MSP problems as well. So the first aspect is about surveys. And we've already talked about this a little bit here, where, one, they need to be fun, and they need to be engaging, and they need to be intuitive, and, capture information and save it and not lose data. Because basically when your customer leaves, when you ask your customer to give you a survey, you're asking them basically to do a favor for you. So why would you, I just don't understand why you would have such an ugly or boring or long survey when, they're already doing you a favor in the first place. So we're doing everything from cute icons here. We have some clouds and some animated smile emojis, and we have some more designs in the works. Also, great looking branded survey page that I'll demo in a little bit. And the other big aspect for having great surveys is this thing that we keep coming back to about asking the right question at the right place at the right time. And a good example might be, let's say you're at a restaurant, and after your meal, the server comes up to you and asks how everything was. And every time, you just say, everything was great, thank you. But really, there probably was something that you could have, even if you were happy, there's something that you could have said, or some feedback for the manager or the restaurant owner that would have helped them improve. Maybe the air conditioning was a little bit too high and it was too cold, or the music was too loud, or the food was too salty or something. But it's because the question wasn't asked the right way at the right time by the right person that you withheld that feedback and didn't give what the restaurant really wanted. So it's really similar. The same goes with MSPs or service business, where there can be situations where you ask for their feedback. Maybe it's you ask for CSAT feedback and you say, how is your tech? But if you know that the tech's going to see the feedback, maybe you don't want to be too harsh. Or what if you get CSAT feedback and it says, how is everything on the ticket? And the ticket, everything with the ticket went well, but maybe you have some bigger issues with the company about the value they're delivering, or systemic issues in process or something. So that's why we now have CSAT and NPS. And later on in this presentation, I can share some new beta features we're working on. But it's basically us just continuing down this focus to really just figure out what is always the right question at the right time. And maybe it's embedded in a closed ticket email notification. Maybe it's an email sent out on a quarterly or bi-yearly basis. There's other survey types that could potentially be a text message or on a tablet or embedded in a web page. And those are features that we don't have yet, but it's things that we're all open to, where we just don't want to close ourselves off to say we're just a CSAT tool, we're just an NPS tool. We are this tool that is providing the world's best customer satisfaction surveys and solving these really tough problems in hopefully an elegant and fun way. Let's see, next here. So the next aspect is about the whole data portion. And this is so important because data is one of those things, especially, on digital and the internet, where sometimes you're just like the right chart away or just one or two clicks away from having the data be super useful and insightful. And if it's just, if it's locked behind a spreadsheet, or if it's just in a spreadsheet but not visualized, that might be what it's missing for, team members to have some sort of aha moment that, we need to improve our satisfaction, or actually satisfaction is pretty good right now. There's great dashboards that we have in SimpleSat, but also what's really important is just the data outside of SimpleSat as well. So here's an example of what an email notification looks like. Here's what a Slack notification looks like. Let me show you this really quickly. Can you see this here? Slack?
Yes.
Okay, so I just want to share this really quickly. This is the real Pronto marketing feedback that we have. And here you can see there's 28 people on this channel. And here's stuff coming in. This is, all within the past hour or something. Here's a positive rating where there's a comment here. So, we kind of love this here. But it's really great place for us to see everything coming in. And we can see the good and we can see the bad. And when we get negative feedback, we can have a discussion about it right here. We can create a thread to talk about it and, what went wrong and what we can do about it to improve next time, and figure out what the next action there is. So it's not this thing where it feels like data is just getting, shipped off to the owner of the company and whatever. It's like we actually have a conversation about this and we use it to improve. And then last is about sending also data to other third-party tools, such as, BrightGauge or, Google Sheets or things like that. So, hopefully creating a frictionless experience that SimpleSat's not just another tool that you need to, to learn and to have people take on. It can actually hopefully just work with the existing systems that you have. And I know a lot of MSPs are comfortable just working in BrightGauge or comfortable communicating through email or Slack or something. So we just want to work with the grain on that. And last, big aspect of SimpleSat is this idea for us to really take advantage of positive reviews. And here's the kind of the super basic flow chart where we were talking here about how it works, where if someone leaves a positive review, that is this moment, this amazing moment where you have your client's attention and they're happy. like it's just the perfect time to ask them to go leave you a review. And conversely, if they give you a neutral or negative response, you of course don't want to ask for a review, but you can still make a positive situation out of it and maybe give them a link to schedule a call. And that's what we do with Pronto. When we get a negative rating, we provide a link to go back to our website where they can schedule a call with a project manager or one of our service managers. So hopefully resolve the problem. Another thing is about these testimonials. So I'll show you in the demo, but here it's going to be super easy to just publish testimonials and have them show up on your website and really solve the problem for Pronto of having fresh testimonials and taking advantage of our feedback. And last is about kind of more automations actually that work with third-party services such as Infusionsoft or ConnectWise or something to help drive even more business and referrals. So with Pronto, we have an Infusionsoft campaign set up where when we get a 9 or 10 promoter NPS score, it tags the client in Infusionsoft and it kicks off a campaign that sends them an email reminding them about our referral program, and if they're an MSP, reminding them about the reseller program. So really just using this data to your advantage. If you have the data, why not help it actually improve your sales and marketing efforts? So if that makes sense, I'd be happy to give a quick tour now of SimpleSat. If you have any questions first, let me know.
Yeah, we got a few. So
yeah.
One, Brian, maybe I read the wrong name, but I thought you asked about if there was a Microsoft Teams integration. Maybe that was somebody else. Mm-hmm. I recall Microsoft Teams being on that hand-drawn SimpleSat sheet. And then I also put a link to the integrations page. Mm-hmm. And they do, you guys do also integrate with Zapier, which opens up a plethora of integrations. Heck, you can integrate it with QuickBooks if you wanted to. Mm-hmm. Brian asks if you plan to offer employee recognition. So Brian, I just want to clarify, are you asking because you want to know if they plan to put that type of feature into SimpleSat, or because you want to know if Pronto is planning on offering employee recognition for their employees when they're doing well with the surveys? It sounds like Brian's wanting to replace CrewWho. So when you're giving us a tour, I think one of the things that I would like to see is if you can show us a report or a chart, graph, whatever, that I know we can see, overall tickets. Can we see based on the technician?
Right.
Primary contact. I think that'll help Brian out with this question.
Yep. Yeah. I'll show that in the demo. And also kind of that question about employee recognition and the way that we're going on our roadmap is I'm not sure how much we'll do with like integrating the actual rewards within SimpleSat, but there's definitely a lot we can do. We're doing a lot now and a lot we can do to improve of just allowing you to kind of figure out this yourself within the data. So the leaderboards and, being able to have team members log in and see their score and, do all that sort of thing. So basically just having data in a flexible enough and way that's presented, useful enough that it makes recognition or gamification or something like that a lot easier. Okay, so I will get started with a tour here. And here's what the main SimpleSat dashboard looks like once you log in and if you have two surveys. And first, I'll kind of show what it looks like to set up the surveys and what that process is. And then we'll look at what it looks like once you have the data flowing in and what all this data looks like. So to create a new survey, I'll create two surveys here to show you how we do both Net Promoter Score and CSAT. For the purpose of this demo, I'm going to show what it's like for CSAT ConnectWise, but it's basically exactly the same for Autotask and Zendesk. And we do have this survey type called generic embed, which allows you to integrate with any other help desk that isn't here. Basically, if your help desk sends emails that can generate a placeholder, like generate the client's name or email address, then you can integrate with SimpleSat. So we have Excello users, Kaseya BMS, TigerPaw, Freshdesk, Help Scout, and a few other help desks here. So these integrations are more just about having a deeper API integration. So to create a ConnectWise survey, you just choose the CSAT option and choose ConnectWise and create survey. But I'm just going to open up this existing one we have here. And first setting is the landing page. So this is what you see once the survey web page opens up. And here's where we can edit the follow-up question as well as the thank you message. And we can change this follow-up question and the thank you message depending on the sentiment of the rating. So this is what we were talking about with the Google reviews, where here you can opt in to use the branded Google link, and we have the right logo here, I think. And this is going to Pronto's review page. And for a negative review, we want to instead schedule a call, and this is going to Pronto page to give a call. And same with the follow-up question. If it's positive, what did we do great? And if it's negative, a little bit more, what could we have done better? So positive, you're already kind of asking for a testimonial here. And show you how this looks in the survey page in a moment. To embed the survey, here's where we can generate the code. So here's our fun thumbs, but we also have these animated smileys, and we also have these cloud options. And there's duplicates here because we also have static versions if you don't want to use the animated. And also just kind of a more generic smiley version here. If you're not feeling a little crazy, you can use that. But for this, let's choose these thumbs and save the code. So this is the giant block of HTML that you're going to want to embed in your ConnectWise closed ticket notification or Zendesk trigger or Autotask email notification. So if we just copy this and move over to ConnectWise, I have this open, but this is in the set of tables for the status. So you choose a board, choose the status, close status, and edit that. And all we have to do is go in here and paste in the code in the HTML option and toggle back, and that is it. And once you save this, now the tickets that you close will now include this rating, and the ratings will start flowing in. And this is a funny moment that we get when we do a lot of implementation demos. We show this, what I just demoed here, and people say, that's it? Like, I thought that's it? And like, yes, that is it. You just paste it in and you're done, and ratings will automatically come in.
And you don't have to do any type of integration?
No, so that's optional. I'll cover that in just a second here.
Okay.
Yeah, so you do not have to do an integration because we do pull in the information through these placeholders in the URL. The integration is definitely recommended to make sure that the data is more reliable, and we can get some stuff that isn't sent through here, but no integration required. You can get it all through here. And this is what we're doing with TigerPaw and Kaseya and stuff. So let's see here. I'm going to show what an email looks like. So here's my email here, and here's a example of what this might look like. And you gave this demo earlier about what Pronto's looks like. So this is just a pretty generic ConnectWise email here. Everyone's emails look a little bit different, but basically the idea is that you're adding this to an existing closed ticket email. It's not, you're not pestering your customers with additional surveys or something. It's just there. They have the option to rate it. And if we click one of these ratings, this will open up a SimpleSat survey here. And immediately after we click, the rating is stored in the system. And this is super important because a lot of your customers will click on a rating and immediately close the web page because maybe they think that it's not required, or maybe they just don't want to be bothered with a survey, but you still want that data. So whether they leave a response or not, you get it. We can go back and here's how they would change a rating. So if they change to bad, then this is going to update the existing rating that's in Simple Sat, and so change the rating. It's all connected with the ticket ID, so that's how we know to update an existing one. And we can leave a comment here. Great work. And of course, you can customize the logo and the background color to match your own company's branding. So here's what a thank you page looks like here. And this is the content that we can change right here in the landing page settings, that we can choose the thank you page text. And also including these buttons here that if we click on rate us on Google, then this can pop up and immediately go to a rating link for you to give a 5-star rating. So you can do that with Google and Facebook, and there is an option that we have here to do custom as well. So if you want to send them to some other review site that we don't have here yet, that's always an option to do Capterra or Yelp or I don't know, anything else.
And can I see your Google link? Is that just taking them to the Pronto search, or is that actually taking them to the review?
Looks like this. It's taking to the review. So
okay.
What you can do?
There's a website that I found, and I can look it up if anybody here is interested, where you punch in your city and your business name, and it'll give you a bunch of different Google links, including like if you want the link to take people right to your business on maps and that kind of stuff. There's a link that'll take people directly to the review screen, and there's also a link that'll take people directly to the review screen with 5 stars already checked. which I prefer that one. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, so that'd be great if you could share that with your members, and
sure.
You can get those links and you just copy that into Simple Sat. So yeah, let's see here. Going back to Simple Sat here. So the last thing about a CSAT integration with ConnectWise or Autotask or Zendesk is the integrations. So once you authenticate with ConnectWise, you just authenticate with an API member. We do 2 things. One, Simple Sat collects additional information associated with that ticket, and some things aren't passed through the rating placeholder like department or board or ticket owner, so that's important to be able to do this. And we also update the ticket with a rating value and an optional comment. So this is great to provide more of a link between Simple Sat and ConnectWise, that you'll be able to see everything in ConnectWise, the rating. Any questions about the Simple Sat survey? Sorry, I mean the CSAT survey.
I think it's all pretty straightforward. We'll
great.
want to dive into some stuff later.
Yep, great. So the other type of survey is email Net Promoter Score. And so this is different because it's time-based, not interaction-based. So what we do here is we can customize our email, the name, you can add your own custom domain so it all looks good. And Simple Sat will send an email that looks something like this. And it's asking, the Net Promoter Score, how likely to recommend. And they click one of these links and they end up on a survey page that looks almost identical to the CSAT one, and except if they want to change their answer, they see a sliding scale rather than the faces. And the follow-up question, which again, same as CSAT, where you can ask these things based on the sentiment of the rating. And technically Net Promoter Score, they call them promoters, passives, detractors, but really it's just about grouping people who rate you into 3 different categories of positive, neutral, negative. So we can have the same thing set up with Pronto review links or sending to schedule a call or something. Then in this delivery settings here, here's where we're actually able to create an audience for who you want to receive your survey. And we have a integration available where you can import and sync your ConnectWise contacts. We also have this available with Autotask and Infusionsoft and Intercom coming soon. So what this does is we sync all of the contacts in your ConnectWise account. And we also get these additional values of company status, company type, contact active status, and contact type. So from here, you can basically create the audience of who you want to get the survey. And you could have this just be, here is what it would look like for basically active customers. But some of our users want to use this to only send decision makers a survey, or they only want to send clients on a managed services agreement. They don't want to send NPS to a break fix customers. So here's how you create these rules, and based on the all and the any rules, conditions, you can basically create any type of audience that you want. And you can choose the frequency, defaults quarterly, but up to you here, days of week. And this is a special part here where actually you can choose to deliver over time, like schedule them evenly over time, or just send them all as soon as possible. And we really like this option to send them over time because, like with Pronto, it was always this big project for us where once a quarter we would do these giant batch surveys and a bunch would go out and then we get all these responses and we had this project to respond to everyone. And with Pronto, we send out a bunch of emails every day and we get like 0 to 5 responses a day, but every day. So it's always coming in. We always have some follow-up to do. It's never overwhelming. It's at a very maintainable pace for us. So this is just calculated automatically by SimpleSat by looking at the audience size and the frequency and days of week, and then we calculate that. And because we have the customer syncs running every 24 hours, these audiences are automatically updated as customers will enter or leave the segment. So once you hit this set live button, it's just on autopilot and it will just run after that. And you can really just manage the customers in your audience by updating them in ConnectWise. You don't even have to go here and upload a spreadsheet or something like that. Does that make sense about the Net Promoter Score and how that works?
It does. And that's actually really cool how that works. I'm not going to lie. I just assumed that, if I set this up and I've got, like you have in here, 485 customers, today's day one. So, everyone's getting it today. And then in 3 months, they'll get it again. And like, oh my goodness, that's a lot.
Right.
But the fact that this tool even has logic to spread it out, like, dude, that's phenomenal.
Yeah, and it was definitely some more engineering to do it, but it's really what we believed was the right thing to do. And it's great to spread them out over time, just lower effort on the support team. It's also a lot lower risk for the user to be sending these out. You're not at risk of sending out hundreds or thousands on day one. If you set it live, you're just going to send 8 emails and then you can tweak it as you go. Maybe people said, I don't like the survey, or you want to change the text or something in the survey. So it's a lot easier just to kind of slide your way into it rather than thinking again that it's this big project that needs to implement. Just sync the list, create the audience and set it live and just see how things go for a few days or a few weeks.
So this is pretty cool. And so here's what I'm seeing and what I really like about this so far. One, it's $49 a month. And it's not like, well, it's $49 a month for up to this many survey responses. But if you want more survey responses, then we charge. Like you're not punishing us for using the software. You're encouraging us to use the software as much as we possibly can.
Yes.
So that's really impressive. I like that you've got it integrated with Zapier. Even if you don't have an integration with one of our tools, we may be able to make that happen using Zapier and webhooks and whatever else, depending on how savvy we are with that type of stuff. Um, I absolutely love that you've got animated buttons for people to click on in the emails. And I didn't even realize that you had more than just the thumbs. Like, I thought the thumbs was fantastic, and the fact that you've got more than that is even nicer for people that
Yeah.
that think the thumbs are weird. Now you can have a double rainbow if they're happy. I mean,
Yeah.
so it's pretty cool. I'm pretty impressed with this. Although, for the people that have been watching these webinars for a while, I'm easily impressed with anything that's pretty and shiny and new for me.
Right. Yes. Yeah. So I knew to get the thumbs ready for you for this presentation.
Yes. So Ray wants to know, can we use our own SMTP servers
For the email sending?
for outbound email?
No, not at the moment, but that's
Okay.
that's an interesting request.
What about SPF, DKIM? Do you have the ability for us to like set all of this stuff up so that way, even though you're sending it,
Yes.
our emails aren't going to get hit in spam?
Yep. So here's where you can add a domain to authenticate, and then we generate the CNAME records for you to do, and it uses advanced DKIM records.
Perfect.
So it'll send from SimpleSat's SendGrid servers, but look totally authenticated.
Okay. And I know Brian, are you available right now? I want to make sure he's paying attention. He has some questions that it seems like it has to do with some like advanced employee recognition stuff.
Mm-hmm.
If it's all right with you, I'd like to give him a microphone so he can just pop on and ask a question. And for those of you, I know it's a couple minutes to 2, so hopefully it's all right that we run over a little bit. But if anyone's interested, before I give Brian the mic, I do want to say you can go to simplesat.io and you have a trial, right, Corey?
Yes, 30-day trial. And the account is full access during the 30 days. So you just go here and click 30-day free trial.
Has anyone ever seen a bigger picture of Alex?
He's just our best friend. So yeah, I just put this
I don't blame you. He's a good guy.
Good looking picture. Yeah, so you just go here and start the 30-day trial. And yeah, it's $49 a month for everything. Unlimited users, unlimited number of feedback, unlimited number of customers that you sync. But our pricing probably won't stay like this forever. So, but we'll definitely grandfather all the people that are in it today. But this pricing and this model is working great for us now, just to allow us to learn about where the value is and just, grow our customer base and, just focus on making people happy.
Perfect. So we're going to call this our extended version, and we're going to go into some extra Q&A because I just want to make sure everybody's questions gets answered. Let me allow Brian to turn on his mic here.
Great.
There you go.
Hear me okay?
Oh, I think I heard you, but you were a little quiet.
Testing 1 2 3. Testing 1 2 3.
Perfect.
All right. So yeah, I'm very impressed with your product. It's got extra features in it that I feel like have been lacking with other CSAT tools that I really like. So I'm definitely going to be signing up and using it. The issue I have internally is that we use Crewwho right now, and it does more than just surveys for us. We use it literally to manage all the metrics that we measure performance with our employees on. So things like billable percentage, SLA, performance on their tickets, obviously client satisfaction. So, and it's nice to have it all in one place because it do nice reporting. And then when we do the reviews, we have these nice reports to reference that we can go over. So the struggle I'm having that I'm going to have is I'm going to basically have a survey tool that's going to be SimpleSat to collect all the survey results for my employees. I'm still going to have to use Crewwho to be able to report on these other external metrics. So I'd love it if you, if maybe on your roadmap, you got a little more into employee recognition, where maybe you're pulling external metrics from other programs, like for example, Autotask PSAs, where we track billable percentage and our SLA performance. Mm-hmm. And then additionally, setting up some sort of reward system. So as a lot of you may know, CrewWho, you gain points as you know, that are awarded for doing well. And then as these points add up, there's literally like a store in CrewWho where they can purchase things kind of as little added incentives. So I'd love to see your product get to that at some point in the future, so then I don't have to be using CrewWho anymore.
Right. Hey, you're muted, Steve.
I brought up the CrewWho pricing page because I thought you might want to see what features they have listed. I figure for as much as they're charging, you're not really worried about people comparing the apples to apples price. It looks like they offer a lot, and yeah, they're definitely more than just customer satisfaction type of stuff.
Yeah, and as I mentioned, I mean, I'm going to sign up for your service anyway. It's so cheap. It's only $50 a month, and then it gives me all these extra features that I need for surveying.
Right.
But long term, I'd ultimately like to get rid of CrewWho, so I'm not using two different systems that, you know, are kind of doing the same thing.
Yeah, I totally understand. And it's like reporting and just better data is one of the things that we hear about the most from our users that we need. Also, it's some things like monthly reports that we don't have yet. A lot of people want, or you know, PDF reports or something. And it's kind of around the lines of like the gamification or those type of metrics. It's a fine line that we need to walk down for not not losing our core focus of, you know, these things I was talking about, of just great surveys, great data, and taking advantage of it. But at the same time, not losing these really valid user requests, like you're saying here, of, you know, tracking the metrics of billable hours or something. So it's definitely not, it's potentially within the scope of something that SimpleSat will do. And, you know, hopefully, I'll show you here what a CSAT Insights page looks like. Something like this, you know, we are starting to build team member leaderboards and stuff where you can see this data, and just, it's the feedback from users like you that'll help us figure out, you know, what is the next iteration of this leaderboard or team member page that would help make things more useful for you, I guess.
Yeah, and we are very involved with every single vendor we work with. We recognize that our services are only as good as the services we get from our vendors. So yeah, I mean, and obviously you wouldn't be still charging $50 a month if you had all that additional feature, you know, all the additional features CrewWho. You could start charging more along the lines of what they're charging for people that want to have that additional feature set.
Yeah, and that's the master plan. If we can hopefully, you know, crack the nut of just figuring out how to make this super repeatable and scalable and happy customers, then later on down the road.
Well, great. Thank you for taking the time to do this webinar. I'm really happy to have stumbled across your product.
Cool. Thank you so much.
So while I'm sharing my screen, I hope it's all right. I want to just show, because so many people were asking about it. There's this grade us or grade.us, whatever you want to call it, where you can just pop in a business name and a postal code and get a bunch of different Google links. So I'll pick one of the people that are in here right now, Ray, just because I happen to know his company name. And all we got to do here is type in the name and the zip code. This popped him right up. So now we can hit continue. And now it's generating all of the different Google links. And this part takes a little while. But this one here, it looks like they got rid of the 5-star one. but this one here is the review dialogue. So I'm actually going to pop this into the chat. And if you guys just click on that, it'll take you right into Google, right to leave Ray a review. Now, don't leave Ray a review. I don't want you guys picking on Ray. Don't give him a bunch of 1-star reviews. That's not my goal. But I just want to show you how easy it is to do this. Mm-hmm. And that is the link that I would recommend putting into SimpleSat or anything else. Even if you let's be honest, you could create your own email to send out to people and say, hey, if you're happy with my service and you want to leave a review, here's my Facebook link, here's my Google link. You could do it all yourself for free, and all it's going to cost you is your time to generate all that. But if you want to actually get actionable metrics, use something like SimpleSat, right? So that's my recommendation. Go get yourself your review link, whether you're going to use SimpleSat, something else, or do it yourself. You should get yourself your review link so it's easy to send that out to people. With that said, Brian, did we kind of, I'm not sure if we answered your question, but do you have a better understanding of what their capabilities are for the employee stuff?
Yeah, I do. And I wouldn't have expected them to have all of those features for only $50 a month. So
sure.
Something naturally, as I'm thinking about replacing CrewWho, there's other components to CrewWho that SimpleSat can't really replace yet. So I'm just trying to figure out my plan moving forward.
Got it. So we've got some other questions here. So we're already a Pronto client. Can we have these pieces of feedback added to our testimonial page? And if so, is this something Pronto will integrate for us?
Yes. So Pronto team has a whole process set up where all you need to do is, once you have your SimpleSat created and you have some feedback, you just need to create a ticket and say, help me out with SimpleSat, and we'll take care of the rest.
Oh, that's awesome.
How this works is, if I just show this feedback page here.
You got to share your screen again. Sorry.
Oh, sorry. Sharing now.
And by the way, Ray, I hope you don't mind that you were my guinea pig.
Can you see my screen here?
Yes.
Okay, great. So here's how you publish feedback. So it's this easy to just click the link either on the pop-up modal or just in the index page. So just like this. And once you have a small piece of JavaScript installed on your website, then when you click this, it will instantly show up in the feedback widget. So here's a few examples I have ready here. Here's our Pronto website. And so here's all the latest Pronto feedback. The latest one was 13 hours ago. So it's pretty cool that it all shows up pretty fresh. This shows the 6 latest feedback.
Oh, that's cool.
Here's another Pronto client that you can actually change. You can customize the feedback grid to choose the color here. They're not showing the date. And you can also choose how many total feedback you show. So you can use it as like a giant feedback wall if you want to just be like, here's all this amazing service we're getting. So this is all the stuff that came through SimpleSat, and they just clicked this button to publish it, and then it showed up on their website.
And I've got a couple follow-up questions.
Yeah,
so that second customer that you showed us, I see they've also got a little pop-up down to the bottom left.
Yep. So this is another type of widget that we have that's similar to kind of like a chat widget, but we put on the left side because that's rights usually reserved for chat. And this is great because you don't need to choose a place on your website to put it. So it's just, you just basically install the JavaScript and instantly it'll just show up on any page you choose. Pronto can help you add this globally on the site or per page, whatever you want.
And then let's say I don't want that pop-up thing on the left, but I do want it to be a slider. Can you make a testimonial slider and just have it be like near the footer?
No, unless we hacked this this grid, maybe a slider, but we don't have a good slider solution yet.
Okay, fair enough. And then last question, what if we are managing our own website using WordPress? Is there a way for us to integrate these still?
Yes. So what you do is just go to the Publish Testimonials tab here and copy this code and put it on your website.
Well, heck,
So,
that's easy.
yeah, so there's a few settings where you can change like the color to be your company's accent color. Here's where you can do the date, true, false, and max number of feedback. You could set this to 3 or 100 or something. Yep, so just copy this, paste it. Here's the pop-up box that we were showing. And we also have a CSAT widget that allows you to display your satisfaction score live on a website.
Man, that right there is, I think, really cool. But also really dangerous. It depends on how good you are at your job, right?
Yeah. This one could be a little risky, but and that's why with the feedback, it is required to be manual every single time, because basically someone's able to put a comment on the front page of your website. You know, you want to be able to have control over that. So
and to follow up with Brian's question on that, where you know, we have to approve, so it doesn't pre-approve automatically. We have to come in here and hit the little yes, I'm correct, or yes it does.
You must click the button. There's no pre-approve, which
is cool. I'd rather come in here and click the button than to have like an irate customer pop in and say, F you, you're the effing worst, and have that be up on my... Now, will it also show the bad feedback?
It would show bad if you published it. Yeah, you have that option.
So that's your own fault if you
that. But like, you know, realistically, it does happen where someone gives you good feedback and they go, great work, but you could have done better on this. And that's kind of, you don't want to put that on your website. It's kind of weird. So you do want to be a little bit more selective over it.
That makes sense. Yeah. Now, Libis, if we are already a client, do we need to do anything with our outgoing emails? I think he's referring to DNS, and it sounds like if you're already a Pronto client, just let Pronto know through a support ticket, and you guys, since you manage DNS for us through Cloudflare, you guys would make all of the appropriate DNS entries.
Yep, just 3 C names we need to add, so super easy.
And then Brian, if anyone has any questions about Pronto or website design pricing, check out the webinar that we did with Pronto Marketing. I don't want to say let's not talk about that, because I don't want to make it seem like we're hiding something, but I do want to make sure that our time here today is focused on SimpleSat, even though the Pronto guys made it. Watch that Pronto webinar. If you have Pronto questions, feel free to reach out to me. I'm a Pronto customer, and I couldn't be happier with my website and the fact that I don't have to touch it. And yes, I do web design, and now I get to go out and do web design for my clients and actually get paid to do web design instead of doing not paid stuff on my own site. So there are definitely a lot of pros to working with Pronto.
Thank you.
Absolutely. That, I think, touches all of our questions that were in the chat here. Okay. So yeah, Brian, if you want to become a partner of Pronto, let me know. I'll get you a referral into them. They'll take care of it. All right. Do we have any other last questions before we close this up? I know some of the guys that are in here were actively considering SimpleSat, so I just want to make sure that they ask you any of the tough questions that they're thinking about.
Can I share a top secret beta feature?
Absolutely.
Okay. Here is something that's coming out in the next few weeks. We're almost done. This is an image screenshot, but we are revamping our survey tool to allow for a lot more options. And you're going to be able to choose different rating scales. So you can have a 2-point scale if you want, or you can have 4-point scale or a 5-point scale. You can toggle the follow-up questions. So now you don't have to ask a follow-up question. You can go straight to the thank you page, or someday, just go straight to a redirect somewhere else. And, these two things are basically what we have now for the CSAT survey.
Correct.
But what we're introducing additional question types, and we have a comment box and a slider and multiple choice.
So what I find this interesting, because you said near the beginning, why would we're already thankful that our clients are taking time to do a survey. I think your comment was, why would we make them do an ugly survey? But
Right.
My thought is, why would we make them answer a bunch of questions?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think it's case by case, and there are reasons to do it and reasons to not do it. But
Fair enough.
the reason why you would want to ask more questions is, just like right now at Pronto, we just have questions about, why is our NPS going down? And it's kind of been trending down for a little bit, and we don't know why. So we started using a rater system. It's called, based on this thing called the rater framework, which is reliability, assurance, tangibles, empathy, responsiveness. And we have a survey. So here's what it looks like for a Pronto survey. Now, if you get our quarterly NPS, you'll see this. So let's say you answered the 10 from the email. You can go back and change that if you want, and leave the follow-up question. Okay, whatever. But instead of ending the question, we now have a few more questions to answer here. So this is probing on reliability. How likely are you to get something right the first time? Or how confident are you to serve us? Or how easy is it to use our online help desk? And, you look at everything. Do we know what you wanted? This is really probing to empathy. Do we actually care about you and listen to you? And last here is about responsiveness. How quickly are you able to get back on that? So these types of surveys are, we're experimenting with, like, when is the right moment to, ask a few other questions, or ask it in a fun way, or figure out what that question should be. Here's another one, just kind of working on for fun, here's one that could be sent out after a CSAT survey. So they opened up the help desk ticket, clicked good. They can go back here, change the rating or whatever. But now they're on this question, 2-metric question that says, were you able to accomplish what you wanted in your first contact with us? So, maybe you want to get some data there about if people were, solving problems first or not. So we say, yes. Overall, how satisfied are you with Pronto? So kind of like a net promoter score question, but let's just say you wanted to get the general sentiment there and capture that. And here would be like a comment box thing here, where you just say, going all out. If you were CEO of Pronto for a year, you're like, buck up. What would you say here? And what are the things that you would do? So I'd be interested to see some, what some things people would put here. But overall, these tools, and like this will just make it super easy for you just to create, you just would have created a comment box and write the question, and it would be there. It would just work, so all of this just works really well. Templates there. Does that make sense?
This is actually pretty cool, I gotta say, Corey. I really appreciate you hopping on here and doing this. Corey, we're gonna close up here, but do you have a few minutes still?
I do.
Okay,
Yeah.
Great. So for those of you watching on YouTube, thank you so much for coming and checking out SimpleSat. Keep an eye out. I'm going to do a video here in the coming weeks of me setting up SimpleSat and showing you guys what it's like to set up SimpleSat for the first time for your MSP. So keep your eyes open and peeled for that. I'll see you guys at our very next MSP webinar. Take care.